What's up everybody? Welcome to Main Street Mower's YouTube channel. Today we have a treat for you. This is a video I've been waiting to make for a very long time. I have two of the best residential mowers on the market right now, and we're gonna be comparing them all day today. We're gonna be putting them through the gauntlet, is what I'm gonna call this. These are the two competitors right here. The Bad Boy ZT Elite versus the Toro Titan 60-inch. They're both 60-inch cuts. So I did get the best two of this class from both brands. So I'm really excited. We got a lot of stuff to test out today. Stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. Today we are comparing these two mowers. I think the top of the line residential mowers for a person who owns, you know, anywhere from 1 to 15 acres or even more, who wants to cut their own grass and wants something that's heavy duty, it's gonna last them, that's kind of commercial quality, but not commercial priced. And that's where these two mowers kind of fall in. This is the Toro Titan 60-inch, and this is the Bad Boy ZT Elite 60-inch. Both companies are fighting hard to win this kind of market, and so they've made these mowers so competitive and competitively priced, competitively spec'd, and so it's very interesting to see them in person, to use them in person, and to see which one's better. And obviously, I'm a Toro dealer. I wear a Toro hat. I rep Toro gear. I grew up on Toro. I sell Toro every day. I own Toro. I love Toro. But I haven't mowed that much with the Bad Boy, so I wanted to make a video where I gave it an honest shakedown. I'm gonna put hours on it today and actually mow with it and actually see if it's good, if I like it. Maybe I like it. Maybe I mow with it and I'm like, hey, this thing's actually totally baller. You know, Bad Boy is kind of a newer company. I mean, they've been around for a little less than 20 years and they've been making a big movement in the market, and you start to see Bad Boy dealerships pop up everywhere, and they're making moves. They're doing good things. They make tall grass short, and so does Toro. And so I wanted to just show them some respect today, but I also wanted to compare them because there's a lot of interesting comments out there. There's not a lot of comparison videos between these two, and I think it deserves a fair shakedown on both sides, and I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible during this video. We're going to test these on 3 different terrains today. We're going to mow the roughest, bumpiest, craziest stuff I could possibly find. We're going to mow a beautiful St. Augustine lawn, and we're going to mow a baseball field at the lowest we can cut it, really. And so we're gonna really test the quality of cut, the durability, the strength, the comfort, and just kind of talk about all the little pieces that make a Toro and that make a Bad Boy good. And I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible, I promise, but just know that I am a Toro dealer and I love Toro, and so I'm coming from that angle. But I am not trying to sell you a Toro today. I'm just trying to show you the difference between these two. And that's why we're here. So I'm excited to do that. So stay tuned. We're figuring out which one of these bad boys, no pun intended, is best. Come on! Okay guys, the first challenge is the fine cut, the low, the beautiful, the cut on the micro level. Right now we're at West Orange High School in Orlando, Florida. Actually it's in Winter Garden, Florida. And the head coach let us come out here and we're gonna cut some grass on this baseball field as low as these babies will go. And believe it or not, you can cut a baseball field like this with a mower like one of these. You don't have to have a giant reel mower. You can cut a beautiful lawn like this with a rotary style blade. Something cool that you guys might not know is that this grass currently is being cut right now. You can see how beautiful it is by a Toro Z Master with rotary style blades, a 60-inch, kind of like one of these but slightly more commercial. So if you never thought one of these could be cut with a rotary style Toro mower, they absolutely can. And look how beautiful this field is. This type of grass, this is a Bermuda, very short type of grass. You're cutting it at 1.5, 1 3/4 sometimes, and 1 1/4 sometimes. And so this is flat, We're gonna be just trimming just the tips off, probably just 1.5 inches, I think that's as low as these go. And we're gonna be cutting this beautiful field. We're gonna see how well they stack up. But because I am biased, I'm trying to be unbiased, and I'm wearing a Toro hat even. I wear a Toro hat every day. So for today, I'm switching hats and I'm putting on my non-biased American hat because these babies are American made. It's my mow hat. And I hope you guys enjoy. We're gonna mow around some. Coach Jay's gonna hop on one, I'm gonna hop on one. We're gonna ride around a little bit, mow some. We're gonna switch, mow around and ride some. And then we're gonna compare cuts, how they felt. We're gonna interview him, ask him about how he's currently cutting this lawn, and get some more details about how do you keep grass so beautiful year round. Check it out. I wanted to get Coach Jay's opinion on how it felt. What did it feel like driving these?
First of all, you could just see from the different cuts that this 1.5 inch cut was a lot lower than the Bad Boy 1.5 inch cut.
Yeah.
Just from a riding standpoint, the Toro felt so much more professional. So much less vibration coming up through the seat. The turns were a lot more nimble. That to me felt like a commercial machine, where this kind of felt more like maybe a machine for a homeowner.
Kind of felt clunky to me, that.
A little bit clunky, a little bit boxy, and the turns weren't as crisp. This machine, the Toro, felt much more nimble. The stillness coming up through the seat, very little vibration. This one was a little bit more, kind of had a little bit more of a rattle to it. But it actually seemed like it could zip a little bit faster too.
Yeah,
I can see the difference in the cut for sure. That the Toro definitely took it down a little bit deeper. And I know that you were asking me before about the Toro machine that I have for my field and taking care of this field. When I reached out to you and Stu about a machine for this that I can afford with a high school budget, he recommended the Toro. I was on the rotary mower. I was a little bit reluctant because we had been cutting with a John Deere reels mower.
Yeah.
The problem with the John Deere reels mower was it was just breaking down too much. We have a striping machine on it which stripes the field. It looks like a professional ballpark.
Right.
We do it in half the time. It used to take me about almost 2 hours to cut the field with a reels mower. When you have the Toro, it zips. So I can come up here and I'm an hour, hour and I'm done. It's just like cutting my lawn.
That's awesome. Coach Jay, I'm so glad you let us come out here and kind of play around with these. And guys, we didn't ask Coach Jay to promote Toro or anything like that. This field is mowed to the Toro, and we knew that he has some bias towards Toro, and I just wanted to be upfront with that. And we just wanted to come out here and try them and to see how it feels. And I've never mowed grass this short, and it is technical. You could make a big mistake really quick, and just like twisting the tires or whatever. But man, I was like, it was exciting. This is like a dream come true to come out here and mow some, and just to think of just how much sunlight this gets, how much water this can be drinking, and this grass is just like an animal. And you have a Toro, he has a 3000 series that he's been cutting this with, and how beautiful this looks and how beautiful it can look just with a normal rotary mower. And guys, when I'm comparing the two cuts here, the Bad Boy cut looks good. The Toro cut looks good. The Toro cut is a little lower. Where we mowed with the Bad Boy is greener, and it's simply because we didn't mow as much. But I was noticing good dispersion. And when I was mowing with this, it was kicking the grass out really well.
That's another big factor too, because if we don't get rain for a while, then of course the dead grass will affect the other grass that's live, because it doesn't get the sunlight and the water.
Right.
So the dispersion on that is really good. What I used to have to do with the reels mower a lot of times was we'd have to cut it, and even with the dead grass that's on the field, we'd have to come back with another type of mower and blow the grass all over the place. Right. But with the Toro, as much as it goes, we find we don't have to do that.
That's cool. Coach Jay, thank you so much.
Chip is great.
Here. It's awesome, man.
Like you said, being out here cutting grass, not better than doing that.
Right, love that. Cool. Man, this is like dream come true. We just need to eat a hot dog and drink a big Coke out here.
And get some baseball back.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. Well, thank you, Coach Jay.
All right, Chip, thank you.
Yep, next location. Come on. Hey guys, we're in the second part of the test. We have made it to the St. Augustine lawn. We're gonna be cutting around 4 inches. well, actually exactly 4 inches on both machines. And I'm gonna cut and try to get a feel for them a little bit more. You know, I haven't mowed much with the bad boy until just, you know, that other property, and it honestly cuts good. The cut looks nice. Makes tall grass short grass, makes short grass shorter grass, and the Toro does the same. Makes short grass shorter grass. I did like the way the Toro felt a little better on the other property. I like the way it turned better. I like the way the seat felt. As far as cut quality, they both looked really good. The bad boy, I don't know if the height of cut was accurate, and so I don't think I was taking off as much, so it wasn't as obvious where I cut with the bad boy as it was with the Toro. And I think that might be because of how deep their deck is. They have a very deep deck. They say that helps with airflow and helps with dispersion. I'm not sure if it actually does or not. Toro has a slightly shallower deck, and they say that actually helps with higher velocity air, and they have a higher blade tip speed than the bad boy does. And so I did notice that there was more grass shooting out when I had the Toro on that baseball field. And special shout out, thank you Jay for letting us cut out there. That was just awesome. The Toro did great. I love the way it felt. I love the way the steering felt. You know, it's interesting. It's just going off what I just experienced. The bad boy dampeners, the way the handles move back and forth, there's like kind of like looks like a screen door dampener on these kind of mowers. Makes the door close slowly, right? The bad boys dampeners are definitely like heavier, like meaning there's like more resistance, which honestly I thought at first I would like more, but it kind of it's almost too heavy. It's like kind of tiring. And like my turns, I was noting this thing, I just wasn't used to it, so I was a little bit slower on the turns, and because of that I'd be turning slower, and then I would actually spin the wheels more because I was kind of trying to keep up with it. Anyway, the Toro, maybe just more familiar with how Toros feel and more comfortable with how they feel. But the Toro seemed to turn much nicer, much smoother, be much nimbler while I was moving it or driving around. And the MyRIDE suspension, it's kind of an unfair advantage over the bad boy because it just feels so much nicer to ride with the MyRIDE system. I mean, completely no vibration from the engine. You're like not hitting the bumps the same way. It's like totally absorbed all of them. So, and not that that was very bumpy, but that I think is a good test for this lawn because there's lots of little dips in this lawn, and it's gonna be a lot bumpier. And so it'll be a good and interesting test to see how nice the MyRIDE is on a pretty normal lawn like this rather than that extremely manicured baseball field. And so we're gonna give it a test. We're gonna mow around here for a little while and see how it feels, and give them both a good bashing on this lawn. And then we're gonna head out to this abandoned golf course here in a minute. It's like reeds and Johnson grass and just nasty stuff out there, and we'll mow that next, and that'll be like the real like suspension test, fatigue test. How comfortable is this mower? How durable? Does it feel like I'm being abusive or not? But we'll get to that in a second. For now, we're gonna cut this beautiful St. Augustine lawn. We're gonna mow around with it and see how it feels. I just got finished mowing that field with both of these and mowing this nice lawn. And guys, the Toro was so much more comfortable to mow with. It's not even funny. Like, the bad boy cut grass well. I thought it was gonna have a worse cut than it did. It actually had a fine cut. But the hydros felt really funny. The dampeners were too heavy, and it was very loud and just bumpy as heck. And I just didn't enjoy driving the bad boy. And I like really tried. I mean, I was like I'm gonna like this, and I didn't really like it. And I don't know if it's the spindles, the hydro idler, something is very loud on the bad boy. It is like whining. It didn't sound like anything was like loose, rattling, or broken. It's just like in general louder. I don't know if it's like a lower quality bearing or what it is, but it was a lot louder. The ride comfort, I mean, obviously this is a MyRIDE, so it's the most comfortable riding mower on the market, and I am a huge fan. They are so much more comfortable to mow on, and that's the whole point, right? Like, we want to cut our grass and feel comfortable and get off the lawn and go back to our life, sit back on the couch and not be just like you just got beat up for an hour. And I don't feel beat up when I ride the Toro. When I ride the bad boy, I feel pretty beat up. Like, I only want to do like 3 passes in that field because I was like teeth chattering, getting jerked around, and I would mow the whole field with this mower, no problem. So that's just one big difference. And like I said, that has largely to do with the MyRIDE, and there is a Titan without a MyRIDE, and I'm sure I would have been beaten up more similar to the bad boy. But maybe it's something to consider is if you're mowing a lot of area and it's bumpy at all, maybe consider a MyRIDE because it's awesome and totally worth it. But just from the tests I had today, I mean, they both look very similar in cut. But from everything I've seen anywhere else and I've heard, the Toro's cut way better. But in my personal experience, they both cut okay. There is some baffling the Toro has that the bad boy doesn't have. Toro also has this leading bumper rail on the front of their mower. It's like a curved piece that follows the front edge of their deck. And anytime you bend metal, it makes it very, very strong. And so that's heavier duty than they have just like a strap on the front of their deck. And if you had to replace your front end, it is removable, and that's nice too. And that's not always an option on all other mowers. And I think Bad Boy always says, Arkansas simple, baby. They always kind of go off the ours is simple, but it's not necessarily simpler. They've like complicated some things unnecessarily. This electric up and down deck system on the bad boy, I just don't think it's a wise thing. It's just so slow to lift the deck up and down. And if you see like a stump coming or something, you're gonna hit it. No way you're gonna be able to toggle that baby fast enough. Come on, lift it, we can make it, bam! When this, all you gotta do is put your foot on the pedal and you can lift it up. Bam, you're up and over. And so that's just something like Toro just knows simpler is better here. Like, we don't need a crazy electric motor. I mean, we literally had one of these in our shop yesterday that had the electric motor frozen, or it wasn't frozen, it was stripped, so it didn't have enough strength to lift the deck anymore. And that's just something that can happen when you have a little bit more advanced part. It's gonna have issues. While the Toro deck lift system, it just works. Just push, put on the pedal, it's easy. And you can see how light it is. I can do it with my hand. So unless you have really, really short legs, I would think the Toro deck lift system is a little better. And I think that's something that I've noticed is that Toro does well. They know when to make things beefy when they need to make them beefy, because they have a lot of heritage and understanding of what a mower needs to be strong and robust. And then they know when to make things simple, make things easy. You don't have to have the craziest thing or feature on every single point, as long as you know how to do it really well. So like, for instance, Toro only has 3 anti-scalp wheels on the front of their deck, and the bad boy has 4 anti-scalp wheels. So they one-up them, right? But the bad boy has only 1 piece of metal holding the wheel, so there's more leverage on that bolt, and it's less protected. So that's just an interesting point. Toro has 2 pieces of metal holding each wheel, so it's more rigid. So that's just an interesting difference. Toro went with less wheels, but with a stronger mount. Bad Boy went with more wheels with a weaker mount. Toro went with a thicker frame, and Bad Boy went with a slightly thinner frame. But Toro went with a thinner deck, and Bad Boy went with a thicker deck. And that's a 7-gauge steel deck. I don't know the quality of steel or the grade of steel they use. I know that on Toro's like 3000 and up series, they use a 7-gauge steel deck, but they use a hardened steel. They use a very strong steel on the Toro commercial line. This is the Toro residential line. This is an 11-gauge steel deck, but it's a very good steel. If they're just mowing their own lawn, they don't have to have a 7-gauge steel deck, and it's going to be a lot lighter on your lawn and leave less ruts and still provide the beautiful cut you want, and it's going to last as long as you'd ever need it to. but it might not need so much weight, right? So that's an interesting thing that Toro did on this. But on their bigger commercial ones, when you're gonna be using it all the time, all year long, you might want the thicker 7 gauge, so they have the thicker 7 gauge on their 3000 up series. So that's just interesting. Toro went with a slightly thinner deck for their Titan series than Bad Boy did. Another difference is Toro has an 8-inch aluminum spindle, which is a very big base. It's very nice aluminum spindle, distributes heat well. And the Bad Boy has a smaller, I think it's a 6-inch aluminum spindle also. So that's just a slight difference. Toro's has a bigger mount. It means it has better distribution on its deck. It's gonna cool it off faster because it's wider. And they've been making mowers for almost 100 years longer than Bad Boy. So that's something too. Like, they've been cutting grass commercially for 100 years longer. Imagine if I did anything 100 years longer than you did it. I imagine I might be better at it than you. There's a misconception too I've been seeing in the YouTube comment realm, that people don't realize that these are made in America too. Like, these are legit made in Minnesota, just like these are made in Arkansas. So they're equally American. Okay? So I just want to end that debate right now. Whether you buy a Toro or a Bad Boy, you're supporting American jobs and it's made in America, and that's awesome. Come on! So in my experience at the end of all of this, I'm trying to be as unbiased as humanly possible. And I have mowed today, and I let other people mow with them. I have given them both a very fair shakedown. We tried it on an 1.5-inch pristine baseball field. Thank you, Coach Jay, West Orange High, come on. And we tried it on a 4-inch high, beautiful St. Augustine lawn with some dips and bumps. And then we tried it on the roughest, most nasty, bush-hogged golf course. And so I feel like I gave them an honest shakedown. I mowed with both of them, and so I can offer you my advice just from that experience. And I think that's what it comes down to, is like, which one is going to, one, take care of your lawn best, take care of you best, take care of your family best. And if you rank all these categories, they both cut grass, so they both take care of your lawn okay. I could mow faster, so I'd be back inside faster. So maybe that takes care of my family a little better. And I was more comfortable, so that takes care of me better. So just kind of interesting points to make. Guys, I hope I didn't offend too many Bad Boy people out there. You know, if you have a Bad Boy, rock on, brother. Just keep on rocking that Bad Boy. Maybe your next mower, try a Toro. You might really like it. If you're on the fence and you're trying to decide, should I buy a Bad Boy, should I buy a Toro? You know, ask yourself, are you gonna be the one fixing it, or are you gonna take it to a dealer? Make sure you pick the mower that has the best support and best dealer. If you have both good dealers for each type, if you have a good Bad Boy dealer in your town and a good Toro dealer in your town, I'd go Toro, baby, because they are just way more comfortable and feel nicer. And I think, and I'm being, you know, I told you I'm biased, but I'm trying to be unbiased in this immediate advice. I think the Toro is a better built machine. Though it might not have a thicker deck, it just feels really well sorted. This was louder. It kind of felt like it just was thrown together to kind of be heavy and more powerful on the, if you're going down the list of items, right? Thicker deck, more anti-scalp wheels, thicker this, thicker that, but it just didn't feel better. You know, I think Toro was very specific in the way they built this, and it feels better. It feels smoother, it cuts nicer, and it feels more comfortable, and it allows me to go home sooner and be with my family and be more comfortable and more patient and kind with my kids or whatever, right? So sum it all up, I'd buy the Toro, and I thought that was what it was going to be, but I honestly wanted to give a really fair shakedown on both, and I'm very thankful that I got to drive this Bad Boy today, and I know so much more about both machines now after spending the day just mowing everywhere with these Bad Boys. Oh, Bad Boy. Guys, thank you for watching. Please like this channel, or like this video if you haven't. It just takes you 1 second, helps this viral go further and helps us do better as a YouTube channel. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We would love to just give you more content like this. If you're looking at other machines, we have a new video coming out soon that's going to be comparing the Time Cutter versus the Bad Boy equivalent. And if you live in Central Florida and you're looking for a mower shop, it's a no-brainer, guys. Come to Main Street Mower. We're family run. I'm the youngest son. My brother runs it with me. My parents are both there. We'd love to meet you and be your mower shop. These are our unapologetic, real selves trying to become your dealer, trying to show you some love. And if you're a landscaper, we're gonna try to make you the best landscaper you can be, because the more successful you are, the more successful we are at the end of the day. Thank you for watching. We appreciate you. Have a good day.
Come on!